Hey, everybody. So, do you ever feel like you are having trouble seeing yourself as a leader? Do you feel like that you're not a leader yet in your business, that you need a ton of people to follow you? How do you feel about that? So, we are Jill and Levi Hunsaker, and welcome to our page. And today we're going to be talking about traits of leadership.
So today Levi was taking a little course and he filled out a questionnaire. And the question that I saw says, "What is your definition of your ideal business?" And he wrote, "A team of leaders that attract other leaders. We all work together to build and grow our teams." So I wanted to ask you, what do you think makes a good leader?
Well, I'm going to start off by asking you guys, what do you think makes a good leader? Go ahead and drop that in the comments below and let us know, what do you think are the traits and qualities of a good or even a great leader? So we're going to be talking about a few traits of leadership. This is by no means a comprehensive list. We're just going to be covering a few points today. But this is just kind of some thoughts. The first thing is a leader is willing to invest in themselves first. And as that leader invests in themselves, they are actually on a path of growth. So a leader is focused on continual learning, continual growth, continual improvement, and then turning around and creating other leaders as well through that same process. That it's not just becoming a leader. To me, being a leader is creating other leaders and encouraging other people to become their best selves. And the second thing that I wanted to touch on today is everything as a leader has to come from first a place of inspiration. So think about, what do you draw inspiration from? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? Those are going to be the things that you know really, really well. And those are going to be the lessons and the uniqueness that you get to bring to the table when you are doing your trainings, that you're doing other things, because you can bring and draw on your experience and your passions in other areas to bring stories and I guess some variety into how you speak about sometimes boring content, boring topics. You can liven them up with your stories. The important thing to remember about this is you're going to be creating content, right? But a lot of people think, but I'm not the expert. Well, guess what? You don't have to be. That's the great news. Experts, in my opinion, are overrated. And that's not to say anything about gurus or experts that have been doing this a long time, but a lot of times they're put way up on this pedestal, and you don't have to be that expert to have success. I think the number is close to about 10,000 hours to become an expert in something. So if you're working full time at something, and we'll take 2,000 hours a year, like the typical job, that would take you 5 years to become an expert at something. But the great news is that you don't have to be an expert. You just need to be a professional. And becoming proficient at something only takes 20, 30 hours to be able to get proficient and efficient at something. And so it doesn't take you a lot of time to get to a point where you can add a lot of value, but maybe you're not to that expert level yet, and you don't need to be. And really, becoming a leader and being proficient is showing others how to take action. Real results come from real action. And that takes me to another point of that leaders, they lead by example. They don't just talk the talk, they are doing what they're teaching you about. That they lead from the front, not push from the back. So it's kind of, have you ever guys tried to push a rope or a wet noodle? Right? if you cook a strand of spaghetti and try and push it, how well is that working? It's just going to kind of bunch up and wave in one spot, right? You can't really push a rope, a thin rope. You can't really push a wet noodle, but you can be a little pulley on it. But the only way you can be a little pulley is if you're out in front. So you got to be doing what you're talking about and showing people how to do. That's the leadership, and it doesn't have to be an expert. The last trait of leadership that I want to talk about today. Do you want to say anything about this one?
No. I'll add a little something after this one.
Okay. So I felt like I was talking too much, so I figured I'd shut my mouth for a minute and let Jill chime in, but she's not quite ready to say anything. The last one is that a leader is willing to take a risk, willing to take a risk of being challenged, that they might be wrong at something, that they might get trolled, that basically there will be people that aren't going to like what they have to say. And that's okay. Because this is one of the things that we've talked about several times is I don't have the full quote up in my head. It's Brene Brown talks about it. The original quote was from Teddy Roosevelt.
Man in the arena.
But the man in the arena, right? And nobody, I like Brene Brown's take on it because she basically says that she doesn't care about your opinion if you're not in the arena getting your own ass kicked. And I love that because the reality is you're going to take your lumps as a leader. And there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of things to say and try to tear you down. But none of their opinions matter because they're not in the arena fighting for what you're fighting for. And so just remember that being a leader, you're fighting for something. You're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for a business. You're fighting for your team.
And for your dream.
And for your dream. So that was not planned. That was just a happy coincidence.
I wanted to share a quote from Brene Brown. She's one of our favorites, if you can't tell. She says, I define the leader as anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and who has the courage to develop that potential. So it's all about developing yourself and then helping others to develop their own potential. So it's pretty cool if you think about it that way. It's not quite as scary.
Yeah, and the awesome part is that you only have to be one step ahead to be the leader, right? We're playing follow the leader. and the best part is think about someone that is maybe way far ahead, maybe making 6 figures, maybe making 7 figures in their company. How attainable does that seem to you right now? How reachable does that seem to you right now versus maybe you're getting started out or you're very early on or not having the success that you see your peers having right now? Well, guess what? The person that you're going to bring in right behind you, you're not going to be miles ahead of them. You're going to be right in front of them, and you get to lead them along the way with you in your journey. You're taking a journey together. You just get to be a couple steps ahead. And that's the beauty of leadership, is being willing to put yourself out there, be out in front, be those couple steps ahead, learning and growing and sharing along the way and bringing people along with you. And I love that. Leadership is so important. And I challenge you guys to look at what you consider a leader and find 3 positive things of where you are just rock star in leadership today, not in the future, not what you think you're going to be doing today. How do you show up as a leader today? So go ahead and drop in the comments. Let us know, what do you feel like the traits of leadership are? And anything else?
Nope.
All right. Have a good one.
night.